what happens when I ejaculate in a woman, because they claim their wives, their girlfriends are like, no, do not even dare finish inside.
Right. There are many things that your vaginal discharge can tell us. We actually look at discharge and then we see whether this is okay or not.
What causes period irregularities? Meaning Kikuyu karibu ni
Irregularities.
Exactly. Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to the part 2 of this video. Please be sure to check out part 1 because I won't permit you to watch part 2 without checking out part 1. And remember, my beautiful guest is the one and only
Dr. K.
Hey, and you know how we did it in part 1. My goodness, this conversation, not as is equal home. I just feel like talking. And I just feel like you guys, please, hata kama hautalan kitu, please learn to kitu by force, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And as I told you, whenever you see me with this book, no, it's about to go down. I have a couple of questions to go that came from you. So, without any hesitation, let's just jump into the questions, okay? A certain person wanted to know vaginal discharge appears to be different from time to time, okay?
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about that?
Okay. As it's vaginal discharge, yeah. By the way, vaginal discharge is supposed to be normal to have a discharge, especially when you get into your reproductive age group. By the time you're about to start your period, you'll start having kidogo discharge, which is whitish, sometimes clear, and that's normal. So there's at least a baseline of what is normal.
Right.
Ideally, even when you're having your monthly cycle, after your period, you're probably going to have a bit of reddish kidogo, the one that's ending, or brownish, because that's the end of your period, and then it changes to clear, to whitish, and then at some point it changes to clear when you're ovulating. Clear, and it can easily pull it, you can easily
sticky.
Yeah, it's sticky. It's like, but it's a clear and does not smell. It's okay, right? And then it can even disappear at some point, so you're not necessarily having any discharge on your underwear just before your period comes in.
Okay.
So that's the normal. At least there's a baseline of what is normal. So what is not normal, abnormal, is when it changes. Even if it is white or cream, it has a smell. There's something going on. If that white discharge has become too much, it becomes like milky, then it is another problem, fungal infection. Okay. Most people will have it whether you had sex or not, just because of maybe medication you're using, stress, or any imbalance in your vaginal microbiome, what I call the environment of the vagina. You can develop fungal infection, even for young girls. So that is the other thing. If you have a change in the color, now the color can change. It can remain cream, white, but it's smelly. That's not right. Or it's a lot of it, especially at a certain point. If it's too much, again, maybe you might want to have it checked. Although too much of your discharge, sometimes there are people who just have a lot of discharge that they have to use panty liners every day, and especially for pregnant women, they just generally have more discharge than usual. Then if it changes to red in the middle of your period, in between your cycle, that's not normal. If it changes to green is a sign that there's an infection.
Really?
Yes.
I've never seen green discharge.
You're lucky you didn't.
Wow.
But there are people who've experienced green discharge.
Okay.
Like actual green. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it might mean you might have something called bacterial vaginosis, or you might have some sexually transmitted infection, like trichomonas, something we've heard of TB, something of the sort. We look for it when we're doing the tests, which is usually sexually transmitted. And then if it changes into gray, also it can change from whitish to grayish. That means it's bacterial vaginosis as well. So there are many things that your vaginal discharge can tell us, but at least if you know what's normal and then it changes from what is not your usual, then let us see you and let us see that discharge. We actually look at discharge and then we see whether this is okay or not.
Okay. Oh wow, thank you for that. Ladies, tega masikio
kabisa.
All right, so a lot of guys were also asking this question. what happens when I ejaculate in a woman, because they claim their wives, their girlfriends are like, no, do not even dare finish inside me.
Right.
So because you find sometimes you start feeling itchy, you start feeling uncomfortable. So what happens, and why should people stop, like guys stop ejaculating in women or whatever? So please just tell us today.
Well, ejaculation is a normal response to the end of sexual intercourse, and ideally should go into the vagina if, of course, that's what you guys want to happen, and ideally should not cause a lot of problems. But in this time and age, what is happening right now is the fact that when semen on its own has a pH, and it's usually alkaline. It's alkaline. If you've done chemistry in primary high school, there's something called alkaline. It's not acidic. I don't know, the opposite of acid.
Okay.
So it's alkaline, and your vagina should be acidic. So what happens is that when it goes into your vagina, if you have any imbalance also in the vagina, then that pH goes down. It goes up. That is, it becomes more alkaline. Okay. So your vagina should be acidic, but not because you have an issue with the vagina, probably bacterial vaginosis, and then you have more alkaline getting in there, then it can increase your pH in a way that it changes the whole environment of your vagina from being acidic to less acidic, or more alkaline. And that predisposes you to a lot of infections. You get that thing called
Tell them.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It disposes you to infections, bacterial vaginosis, and that imbalance creates an imbalance in your bacteria and fungal, all those things that are happening in your vagina to not work very well. There's no symbiosis there, so that's why you get itching. You can get discharge, a very, very foul smell. Very, very foul, because it's something smelling like, I've used it in my videos, like something that's going bad. Okay. That, like, bad.
A lot of guys say the
fishy smell. Fishy smell. Kumbe, you guys know, that fishy smell is most likely because of that. So I think in this kind of it would be important for both of you with your partner to go to the doctor so that you can be able to manage these times, because we can't stop you from, if you're trying to conceive, we can't say now stop having an ejaculation. It's not possible, you still have to continue and have a normal sexual life. Yeah, so if you have that issue particularly, make sure to see us. But again, I said if you're more predisposed to getting bacterial vaginosis, that's when you're likely to get these issues when there's ejaculation. Okay. So you might want to check what you're using to clean yourself down there, because if you're on an antibacterial soap, I promise you're going to have issues, because it's going to kill your normal bacteria. You're going to have a less acidic vagina, and then with an ejaculation, full-blown bacterial vaginosis.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Wow. Guys, again, I welcome you to join this conversation. The comment section is the place you need to be. Let's move on to periods, menstruations, all that. So most people want to know what causes period irregularities. Meaning Kikuyu karibuni.
Irregularities.
Exactly. So tell us, what causes period irregularities?
Well,
yeah.
A period is it should be cyclical, and it should come after a number of days, and it's a whole system of how your brain works, your ovaries work, and also the uterus, how they respond to each other. So if there is any problem anywhere along that path, from the brain to your ovaries and how your uterus responds, then you can have a change in how your cycle is. So for example, if let's say from the brain, if you're someone who has a lot of stress, a lot of things going on in your mind and all that, you're more likely to not, your body will just tell you, we need to stop doing this fast, like your normal things, like this period is not a priority. Let me now concentrate on this other thing that's giving me a lot of stress. Even just simple stress can cause that. Things like exercise, if you're doing too much of it, that's putting a lot of pressure on your body. It prioritizes other things other than your normal cycle.
Guys, I told you, hey, my guest is on fire. And remember, she shares all this information on her platforms. So if you want to, if you're curious, you want to know more about all this that we're talking about and other issues, please go check her out. and you will thank me later, okay? But thank you so much for that, because today I feel so enlightened.
Right.
Yani nimekaa na madaktari. By the way, off camera kuna madaktari wengine pale. Big shout out to you guys.
Right.
I just feel so humble to be here, man. And the next question, so many people were asking, rather women were asking, they experience painful periods when it gets to that time of the month, and they want to know, ni shida niko nayo ya mwili, ama is it still mental as you put it? Like what really goes on when my time of the month comes and I'm just like, no, not again. Yeah.
You don't even look forward to having a period.
Not at all.
Yeah. Pain while having period is expected. Because what happens that the uterus, when you're having a period, it kind of like has muscles that contract, and when they contract, they inhibit some blood vessels that, they produce even things like prostaglandins that make you susceptible to pain. Okay, so even during that contraction, there's also some level of deoxygenation that causes some level of pain. So it should be around mild to moderate. As I said, it's subjective. Your pain is not my pain. My pain is not your pain. So there are people who will experience mild to moderate pain, and they'll be able to exercise or go about their normal duties or activities without any problem. But the problem is one that is severe, that you cannot be able to do anything. It's causing you a lot of diarrhea, vomiting. Okay, that can happen even in mild and moderate, but not when it's stopping you from your normal activities. Okay. So that is now extreme pain. For such patients, we usually give them medication to reduce and relieve the pain. We also encourage them to try and eat better meals during that time, or even before your period. Try to reduce a lot of sugar, because all this works together. And at the same time, try to increase their exercise, because exercise tends to help during the period, keeping yourself active. Yeah, it keeps your mind also off that a lot of pain, but if it is that one that cannot do anything at all, then we usually give medication to reduce that pain. It might be long term or short term, but at the same time, that's after we've confirmed there's no other problem.
Right.
Things like endometriosis can cause a lot of pain, especially during that time of the period. Adenomyosis, also very, very painful. So if you have that severe pain, then it's again, come to us so that we can find out whether there's any other problem that is causing that we can treat to reduce that pain.
And my sister right here wants to know if there is any basic health practices that women should practice regularly.
Wow. First of all, washing yourself down there at least twice a day.
Okay, twice
a day. Yes, with water, guys, with water, clean water,
not soap and water.
Soap is acceptable only where there's hair. Around that area with hair, that's okay, and of course the behind, right? But now when it comes to the inside of the vagina, you don't want to clean the vagina inside. Right. It is a self-cleaning organ, so it's the same way your colon is also a self-cleaning organ. You don't go try to clean the inside. So they're all self-cleaning, so you don't need to do anything about that. But when it comes to cleaning down there, just use normal water, because some soaps might contain antibacterial agents that can cause bacterial vaginosis, which worsen everything else. Yeah, keeping your down there also nice and tidy is also important. I don't say that you have to remove the hairs, all of them, but it's good to also keep it tight, because hair keeps a lot of dirt and sweat and all that. General checkup with your gynecologist, because we need to do a pap smear. There are things that we check that you might not really think about, but might save your life in the future.
That was really amazing, and right now I feel like kuna mtu anafeel ni kama I need more information. So please tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Muthembwa. And also find me on Facebook as Dr. K Official. Actually, my Instagram is where you'll interact with me more. If you send a message, I'm able to respond to you, most of you. And then I also have my telephone number for the office on my Instagram bio. The other places you can find me on YouTube. Some of the information I'm giving you are actually there in detail, especially if you're suffering from some of the things that we've discussed. And is there any Twitter? Yeah, I don't remember my Twitter, but yeah. I remember my Twitter name.
That's fine.
Right.
Anything else you need to add? Closing speech?
Yeah.
Salimia my fans huko.
Yeah. tunawapenda. By the way, we are not that scary as doctors. We actually, you should see the people next to us, you know, very, very cool people. Don't be afraid. We are totally non-judgmental. So come as you are. We will help you have a healthy sexual and reproductive health.
Amen. Hallelujah. And thank you so much, guys, for watching. It's been real. I'll definitely be seeing you in the next video. Till then, cheers and stay safe.